Hello HQ, welcome back to another video. Today is the day I update you on my Pokemon and Yokai Watch inspired game, Phantom Preacher, which is a linear story Pokemon and Yokai Watch inspired game for a more mature audience. Now, in my last video, I covered how the camera works, which if you want information on that, I suggest you check out the last video. If you're coming in if you're one of those weird people that want to come in halfway through the series when you can clearly see it says Devlog 2 or something, then you should check the last video. And in Devlog 0, I mentioned the roadmap, and now that this is Devlog 2, we're going to be talking about the art. Now, how I'm going to edit this video is going to be slightly different, because if you watch the last devlog, I actually showed video footage of my progress in the game. Obviously, if you didn't already know, the footage that you see in the back isn't actually Phantom Preacher footage. It's footage of another game that I scrapped last year, but I just used it for the sake of having something interesting going on in the background. But in this video, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you before and after results of basically the art. So I'll put an art thing on the screen, and then I'll show you a picture of a wall or something before the art has been applied, and then I'll go into depth on how I made that wall different, and then I'll show you the after results, and then you'll see that side by side. But then we'll just repeat for every piece of art on the map that I've changed so far. And now for our first section of the art, we have the physics boxes that come when you open a third-person project in Unreal Engine. I think I added 2 more to make a box of physics boxes, if you actually see that. Now, to create the actual materials used here, I used the solid blue, which I renamed base blue material, that the actual Unreal Engine started with, and then I basically just created increments from there. So I just changed the hue on each of them really. I have one base red, a base yellow, there's a base green, there's a base blue. Then I also made a shiny blue, which is basically the exact same material. I just changed the properties around a bit. I made it more metallic, and I made it I turned the metallicity up, if that's even a word. I also turned the roughness up, so it's just really, really reflective and really, really shiny. And I also added a specular value, which basically just means it's off emissive light, which it's like a light bulb. I don't know. Now for the after photo, I'm gonna have to explain one single parent material, which is the god of all future materials. I'm not gonna go into full depth on the actual material, but if you want, I did obviously use a tutorial first, because this is way too complex for me. I did use a tutorial, so I'm gonna link the tutorial in the description. It's gonna be the first link, if not the only link in the description. But this one cell shading material is going to be the thing that makes the whole stylized art piece. So the first thing I want to do is show you a piece of the coding that is given by the tutorial, and just show some things that I've changed, just some things that I found to be a bit easier, and some things, if you want to follow this tutorial, these are just if you want to use it, obviously if you want to use it in the same manner where I am, where it's used for every single material, then honestly I would just change, go after the tutorial, just go back to this video and change it with it. Now, literally the only thing I've changed is a texture sample. So I put any existing texture, a brick texture, in it, and it will apply that texture. No, it will add the texture and apply the cell shading to it. And then also a parameter called texture scale, which will literally just scale the texture to anything I apply it on. So regardless if I apply it on a circle or a square, it's both going to be the same texture. And then I modified the material a bit for the amount of cells applied to every colour. So now we got a red, a blue, a yellow, and a green. Now, just as a very, very disappointing side note, I did do something wrong with this original project. So I've had to make a new project and mimic it. For the majority of the things, I have done the exact same. The camera's the exact same. The UI, which I'm going to get into in the next devlog, is the exact same. But I don't know what's happened. I just can't get the materials, and specifically the material function that causes the cell shading, to be the exact same. So it does unfortunately look a lot uglier. But for the time being, until I find either a fix to it, or all our hearts just magically grow to this specific art style, it's just gonna have to be something I'm gonna deal with, because I've tried 4 times and I just can't. It always ends up the exact same. So what I think's happened is, previously I made a mistake which made it look so good, and this time I'm following the tutorial pin perfect, and the uglier version is the right one by the tutorial, but then the mistake I must have made in the first version is what made it look so peekaboo. And then I also went into like the actual like material, not like the instance or the material function. Like I went into actual material and I made like a normal texture and RGB texture, which will then eventually go to colour and in the normal setting. So I can apply a texture to the colour, which will then put the texture over it and also like apply the normal map. So I could actually put any texture pair I want on it, and it will basically have that texture and then apply the cell shading on it. So with that, I think I've made like 2 cobblestone textures and a grass texture. And that is all the materials I have done so far. I am working on more, just for the sake of like peeking and showing in my live streams. If you don't know, every now and again I'll do a live stream. I think I'm doing one in a couple of days, to be fair. I really just live stream whenever I feel like it, but yeah. Now that is going to be the end of this devlog. The next one is going to be the game. I know isn't the game UI, the game mechanics. Obviously the UI is a part of that, but it will just be the game mechanics really. And you should probably expect this around November. I know I've pushed this back because this video is coming out in September, and then the next devlog is going to be going out in September as well. So I did try and plan things to happen like for the power system around December time, so it would be like a full half a year basically. But just by the time that things are going to happen, I probably wouldn't expect the last devlog until like February, and I'm sorry for that. But like, if I put too many restrictions on myself of when I need specific videos out, then when the game does come out, it's going to be horrible. And personally, if I was to play a game, I would rather it be well made and like take ages, like Silk Song, rather than just like rushed. So like, I'm sorry, but like